Ancient Egyptians' monuments suffered a lot from the robbery activities everywhere in Egypt.
Archaeologist Essam Shihab understands the threat posed by thieves better than most.
We have very few examples for the intact tombs which found during the history of ancient Egypt.
Essam has explored many tombs in the region, but the mummies he recovers are always badly damaged and their treasures stolen.
The ancient Egyptians believed that they will have a life again in the afterlife. For this reason, they did their best to hide their tombs and buried their treasures.
The Egyptians went to great lengths to protect the tombs of their rulers. The tomb of Tutankhamun was no different. A false wall blocked off the burial chamber, and a plastered doorway sealed the tomb entrance. In front of it, 40 tons of rubble packed the corridor from floor to ceiling, creating a solid 25-foot barricade. A third doorway plugged the entrance securely shut, stamped with the pharaoh's seal. These 3 solid layers of protection were then buried beneath chippings to camouflage the tomb in the barren valley landscape. Were these defenses the reason that Tutankhamun was left intact? Essam isn't so sure. Today, he's investigating other tombs from the era of Tutankhamun in the nearby Valley of the Nobles. Most of these tombs had similar defenses to Tut's chamber, but all suffered multiple break-ins.
We didn't find anything belonging to the owner of this tomb because everything has been already stolen by the robbers.
Essam wants to investigate why the layers of security failed to protect this tomb. He already knows the most common ways thieves used to break in. Throughout the valley, the necropolis police stood guard. But at night, visibility was poor and the tombs were vulnerable. Robbers often bribed the guards to tell them where to find the entrances. They could then tunnel through the rubble and break the plastered doorways to get into the tomb. Later tombs featured 50-foot deep pits. But the robbers smashed the false walls and climbed through with ropes. They robbed all the treasures they could carry, then set fire to the tomb, using the inferno to extract the valuable gold leaf. But at the tomb Essam is exploring, things were a little different. Here, the main entrance remained sealed, yet thieves managed to steal all the treasures hidden inside. Essam is searching for clues as to how the robbers broke in.
We have excavated and noticed a truncation cut. They cut through the floor, trying to get into the tomb before getting the treasure.
Even if they couldn't find the entrance, the tomb raiders knew they could just dig down into the earth and hope to strike it rich. Essam heads inside and finds another clue.
We believe that this break was made by the first robber who tried to get the treasures from inside the tomb.
Once they'd found the tomb, thieves smashed through the walls to find every piece of hidden treasure.
Here. We believe that this was robbery activity here. When the robber entered a tomb, he tried by a haphazard way to cut into any place for finding the treasure.
It seems the grave robbers were so greedy and desperate to get inside, no defenses could hold them back. It was even common for tomb raiders to smash up mummies in the hope of finding valuable jewelry.
We have found lots of the human remains. They were found as fragments. We found lots of skulls, separate skulls, and we have found lots of different parts of the body.
Broken limbs, fractured skulls, and fire damage show how far looters went in their pursuit of treasure.
This brick could be as a result of looting the tombs, destroying the tombs, and everything inside the tomb.
Whatever the ancient Egyptians did to protect their tombs, thieves would find a way in. So how did Tutankhamun manage to avoid such brutal treatment with identical defenses? If the sealed doors and hidden entrance of Tutankhamun's tomb didn't keep robbers away, what did? Now, new discoveries suggest that a terrifying force of nature may have provided the greatest defense of all. Kent is curious to discover what effect a flash flood may have had.
We've been trying to figure out the flood patterns that occurred in dynastic times, where the water would go, how much of it is likely to hit in the area of Tutankhamun, burying the entrance of that tomb and concealing it.
He maps the valley to figure out where water would flow.
Right in the heart of the valley is KV62, the tomb of Tutankhamun. It's located in a very central position. If there is rainfall almost anywhere, that water is going to wash down into the valley at considerable speed and bearing a lot of flood debris right into the entrance of the tomb.
Buried beneath so much rubble, Tut's tomb would have been almost impossible to find.
When Howard Carter came along to excavate that area, he saw the workmen's huts, he saw flood debris below it, and decided initially there's probably nothing here. But he persisted in his excavations. He dug through a workman's village, through flood debris, until finally he discovered the tomb he really had been looking for all along.
When the boy king died, his mummy was rushed into a tomb never meant for a pharaoh. This rushed job, a flash flood, and a final act of treachery transformed a minor king from obscurity into a modern-day legend. For 3,000 years, his mummy lay undisturbed inside his golden coffin, surrounded by hordes of shimmering treasures. He alone has stepped over his greatest rivals to achieve the goal of all pharaohs: immortality.